in in this scenario. First things first, Troy isn't as gray as he looks right now. We want to just address the fact that the coloring is just funny. Okay, so you guys,
we determined that Martha runs the show, so she has the beautiful filter and she gives us the fatigue filters.
I'm like,
so she gives her guests. I'm gonna make sure I look the best on the screen. So let's give Troy the fatigue filter and Dave the white him out filter.
Just wipe me out.
Like
it's like a halo. Just
this is like, part of branding, by the way. If you're going to be the brand, make sure that everyone appears around you like exhausted and blown out. That'll elevate your brand to the next level. That's the lesson today. That's it.
When you partner up with folks, make sure they look awful. No, that is actually
well. I mean, taking it to the
terrible
level of
advice.
Awful might be a little far.
Yes.
Troy looks gray. Dave looks blown out, but we don't look awful, Martha.
Hey, listen. You know what? I don't know where to go from here. Is where I'm at right now. Oh my gosh. You guys were trying out a software, like it's a new thing that we can do with that software that I use every morning for my morning lives. And it's this, and it's being able to do side-by-sides and not deal with nonsense of like silly software. All the while, we've still had some nonsense stuff. So anywho, I am bringing the video up in front of myself. What we're talking about tonight, you guys, is branding. We're going into an actual branding conversation. And you guys, like, you are a living, breathing, walking, talking brand, whether you act like it or not, or whether you think that you are or not. A big popular thing that people have said a long time ago is that your brand is basically what people say about you when you're not around. So it's your character, it's your own personal culture that you carry around yourself. That is your brand. So even though there are visual parts of your brand, i.e., fonts and colors and all of the things that people like to spend way too much time on. Although there are those parts of your brand, the part of your brand that matters the most, you guys, is who you are as a person, okay? And who you're speaking to as a person. I just kind of took off running on this. What do you guys want to like toss in some branding awesome from a high level?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about you really running this part of this series on, we're doing a 3-part series on branding. Like you run this, that is your thing. Like you are a master of helping people develop personal brands. I think one thing we're going to bring into play is the importance of a personal brand. Troy and I always talk about on stage, off stage, and on stage doesn't mean you're actually on a stage in front of people. Anytime you're around anyone that can see you, whether it's on social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, walking down the street, at the local coffee shop, at the dental place, you're representing your brand. So it's really just being consistent and persistent with who you are as your brand and always following through on that. We talk about offstage being like literally at home, you put on your jammy pants, do whatever you want. But when you're out there in the world, whether it's at a soccer game on a Saturday, you're representing your brand. So if your brand is really about, like, let's take OOLA. And OOLA is about changing the world with this word. And it's about finding balance. And it's about kindness and really accepting of other people and you be you. And then you saw me at a coffee shop and I'm yelling at the barista because I don't like my coffee as I'm, yelling at one of my kids. That's completely incongruent with who you are. So when you start to develop your personal brand, first of all, you start off with a place to make sure it's you, but then you're always living that brand. That brand is something you always live. And when you create a brand, I know you're going to talk about this, Martha, but when you create a brand and it's based around who you really are, your core values and your beliefs, it's super easy to believe in that, so that's a big part of it.
Yeah. Right.
I think I froze.
No, you didn't.
Oh, okay.
I see you. Troy, do you have anything you wanted to add there?
I think the key for this, and for me even, it's not so strategic. It's in order to do what Dave's talking about, which is be on stage and off stage, the closer you can be to your authentic self, like who you actually are, that makes it simple. When people try to portray something that they're different because they think they should, or they've been studying best practices, or I'm trying to be like this person or trying to be like that person, there's a disconnect from who they really are. I think it makes it so much easier. To me, branding is more of defining who you are. and what you're passionate about and what you believe in and what you're going to put a stake in the ground on. And what is something that you will stand nose to nose with someone and say, hey, this is important. And it makes it so much easier. It's not so strategic about logos and colors then. It's like, these are the things I believe in, and these are the things I stand for, and these are the things I want to attract other people to this message. What are those things? So many people confuse, like, it's good to compare so comparison's a bad thing. Comparison from a branding point of view, you can look at best practices. You can look at brands you love and go, how do they do it? That's fine. The problem comes when you try to become that brand. And you separate. So an OOLA story is when we started OOLA, and once someone tattooed OOLA on their body, we knew it was right here, a big abdomen tattoo that said OOLA. And we're like, okay, we actually have a brand. If someone's tattooing on their body, and we talked to someone, it was an author or a publisher who said, remove the word OOLA because it just doesn't make any sense to the average person. And they said, remove faith. And that's where we looked at best practices. We wanted his opinion, but we stood firm on the things we believe. OOLA is something we lived in our own life. It got Dave out of a dark spot. It helped me retire young and stay married. Like, this is something we believe in. And we believe that faith is one of the 7 key areas. So just because someone wanted us to sell more books, or we saw them as an expert, it's really a fine balance of what won't I move on? What are the things that I won't budge on? But still at the same time being open to people who know more than you about branding and take their input.
Yeah, totally. I actually had a similar experience with my very first business coach, like out of the gate, my very first business coach. We were good until he told me that I was too altruistic. and now I would love to hear his opinion on that. But he basically, for those of you that haven't Googled what altruistic is yet, that it's basically giving. It's like it's being heart-centered and it's giving to other people. And he told me I wasn't going to be able to build a successful business being as altruistic as I was. I needed to rein that in, is what he told me, in order to succeed. And so what I told him was, okay, so I think this is where the road ends for us, right? So you guys have to have enough strength in your brand, strength in your personal, what drives you, what your message is, right? What you're here to speak into this world, what you're here to, like, if you could be on a stage and the whole world is listening to you, you've got everybody's eyeballs and everybody's ears at once, what is that one thing that you would want to say to them? And they would automatically just go ahead and internalize it and believe it and start living that from that moment forward. What is one thing that, if everybody were in that space, what is one thing that you would say to be able to sort of shake the world to its core? And what is that message of yours? That is at its key point, at its seed. That's your brand, you guys. And then you move out from there. And I know that even like whenever you're speaking things out into the world or whatever, people still feel like, well, that's still like, that's just one sentence. But really, what does that one sentence mean, right? Like, what is that? What do you want for the world? What have you been through? And this is where we go into bat signal. First, I actually wanted to go into uncovering who you're here to serve, okay? First of all, let me just say, I was going to go into some comments. We'll go into comments here in a minute. If you guys have questions, feel free to put them in the comments. I can put them up on the screen because I got my good software. So you guys, who are you here to serve? In a very easy and succinct way, I can just let you guys know that the person you're here to serve is the person that you were at the beginning of your journey, okay? Now, whenever you hear me say at the beginning of your journey, I imagine some people glaze over and are like, the beginning of what journey, right? Martha, I've been on a few journeys. Okay, I get it. The most meaningful journey that you've had, the thing that has changed you the most in your life, the thing that you love talking about, but you've grown from somewhere. So where were you at the very beginning of that? Because here's a mistake that people make, is that you start, how do I say this? you start trying to speak to people, or you start trying to serve people from where you are right now. You try to serve people that are you right now, okay? And while there might be some people that you can serve in that space, most of your people that you should be talking to are back here at the beginning. Because when you were, so for me, I was in corporate America, I was sitting at my desk, I just got a video of my daughter taking her first steps. What I needed was guidance, and I needed direction to figure out I wanted to go home. I wanted to be able to work from home. I was ready to stop missing experiences. I was tired of pulling out of my driveway every morning, looking at my house and thinking, man, I'm going to see that again in 8 hours, and all the people I love inside of it, right? Like I was done. But I didn't have anyone to guide me to how to actually make that happen for myself. I didn't know anyone that had done that for themselves. I knew people that had started businesses, but they weren't necessarily thriving. I was living in a place that wasn't like, God love you, Cedar Rapids, but it wasn't like a thriving metropolis or anything like that where I had, business people around me that I would be able to look up to. It wasn't that situation for me. So anybody that I had to like glean or be able to reach out to was all going to be online, and I really didn't know them. Okay. So my situation was that I needed direction from somebody that I knew had been in my place before. Okay, so that is who I serve now. I serve the person who knows that they want to do something else, and they just need the direction. They've got the gumption. They've got the like, I'm gonna do this. They've got all of that. All that they need is do this, do that, do this, do that, wash, rinse, repeat. That's what they need, right? And so that is who I'm here to serve. I'm not here to serve who I am right now. I'm here to serve who I was before. So if you guys can think of who you were before, that is who you are here to serve, you guys. I would love to hear your comments of who your person was before. What are your guys's, what are your takes on that? Or what are your, who were you before?
I think it's like, that's the true essence of OOLA on that part too, because where I was before was in a really bad place. That's where the OOLA book, the first OOLA book we wrote, starts like that. So Dr. Troy introduced me to the concept of OOLA in 1997. I was a young guy, and he said, hey, you're going to win at business and you can win at money, but you have to win in your family, and you have to win in your faith, and you have to have fun, and you got to be fit and take care of your body. So I followed the plan that Dr. Troy, this is before it was even called OOLA. I followed this plan, but then I found myself, when I was at the top in 2006, I found myself overinvested and all that. And then the stock market crashed, the housing market crashed in 2007. And where I found myself in 2009 was bankrupt, divorced, living in a motel, like lost everything. And I was married, had 5 kids at the time. So when we started this journey back, I reached out to Dr. Troy, who was retired at this time, living in Arizona, married 20 some years. And I said, you're not going to believe this. I'm literally in a motel. I'm going through a divorce. I've lost everything. Like, life sucks. And he goes, take this thing called OOLA that we've taught you all these years, put it back into your life, and start working with that and see where it goes. And I said at that time, if this helps me get out of the bottom, I want to share this with the world. So now looking back where OOLA is today, I know exactly what you're talking about. What I'm passionate about is helping people who are stuck in life. Maybe they're not all the way going through a divorce. Maybe they're not bankrupt, but they're stuck. They're just not where they need to be. They're not living their true purpose in their life, and they need help. They need to find balance in their life again, and need to start getting their life back on track. And it's exactly that. Once you know who and you know why you're passionate about that, helping that person, you can accomplish anything with your brand.
Yeah, I'm into that.
And for me, it's kind of a different point, because Dave was helping people. I love how I've never heard that analogy before, but where you've been. And so Dave was at the bottom, and he's passionate about getting people who feel overwhelmed and struggling out of the bottom. Mine was, if you would have looked at me in my 30s, I would have the external markings of success, money, career, family, but I was so money and so business driven that I would lose sight of the things on the why I was making money, like to spend time with my family and to be a good provider, and to, so OOLA for me keeps me in check with me. Meaning that, yes, these two things are important, but I also need to take care of my health. I also need to have some sort of faith walk that's bigger than me, be a part of something bigger than myself. I need to have joy today, because I used to roll my eyes at fun, like, oh, that's for other people, because I have more important things to do. Someday, I'll do this fun stuff. I used to limit my friendships because I was so business driven that the only people I would interact with is people I could do business with. So I've really learned that there's another level beyond money and career. Even if those things are great, there's another level of fulfillment that you can even enjoy the freedom that you get with your career, enjoy the money, if you understand that there's 7 areas. So it's interesting. I mean, that's such a great way that you talk about it, because I know that our coaches are from all different backgrounds, and some have a expertise in fitness or wellness or health, and some are in money, and some are in whatever, and they're using this to look at life as a whole. And I think that's kind of the key when you're branding, is that's what we're passionate about. When you said in the beginning, what would you stand on a stage and look people in the eyes and with clear conscience and say, you need this. I have this information you need, and that's OOLA for us. And I think it's a great way for people to think about their brand, because so many people think of like, how could I make money? Or how could I do this? Or how could I look important? Or how could I grow a following? If you say, what is that thing that other people, like we believe that everyone's designed by God for greatness and a purpose, and everyone has unique gifts, callings, and abilities. If you can tap into that, you have something that other people can benefit from, and then build your brand around that. Yes.
You guys, I'm going to reiterate, you saw me shake my head because my body responds whenever I hear this thing. You cannot lead with money, okay? You cannot lead with how much am I going to make. You cannot lead with money. You're going to trip over your shoelaces every single time. A heart in service does not start with money. And a life in service to a community is ultimate happiness. With balance, with OOLA, and in service to your community, with all of that, and basically showing other people how to do that, that is ultimate happiness, you guys. But it does not start with, how am I going to make this money? How much money can I make? Da, 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 da. If you focus on that, not only are you squeezing the life and the joy out of what you're doing, but you're moving from a different energy. You're moving from a place of, how do I get their money from them? Instead of, how can I provide so much support, value, service that they are willing to offer me money in order to help them with their stuff, right? How can I help so much? Then we can create this community, instead of how can I take their dollars from them. You guys, it's massively different. And it's that, if that is the core energy that is coming from you in building your business, you have got to check that first. Nothing else will work, okay? Nothing else will work. I have seen people just burn whenever they try to start with money. I mean, I don't know anybody who's been successful, honestly, who's only come from a money.
If you go through your Instagram feed or go through your Facebook feed, people are smart. And if you see people and what they're posting and what they're doing, you can almost tell 100% of who's leading with money and who's leading with service. And if you track those people, if you could make a list of who's leading with money and who's leading with service, and mark your calendar for 3 years from now, the service people will be around, and they'll be growing organically, because people can palpate your heart, even through distance and even through social media. They can tell your intent behind what you do. Do you truly care about the well-being of the person you're interacting with? Or do you truly just want to have them open their wallet and grab some dollars and let them run? And so much about branding in whatever you're doing is, and you do such a great job of this, that's why we resonate with you, you build relationship. And after you build relationship, then you build trust. And then they see you in integrity, acting out in the principles that you're advocating for other people. And they go, okay, now that the trust just became solid. And now it's like, okay, now I'll buy. Because I've seen it. They really care about people. They apply to their own life. They're not a flash in the pan. They're going to be here a while. Nothing has changed. I've known this brand for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years, and they're the same people. And I've seen them on stage. I've seen them off stage. That's when you're lucky enough to get them to consider an offer from you. But so many people go, buy my thing, buy my thing. How many times, LinkedIn's the worst for it. Someone goes, accept my thing, and there's an auto response that goes, buy my thing, buy my thing. Are you kidding me? It's like, I don't even know you. I would never want to do business with you, because if the first question you ask me is for some money, we're not going to do business ever. You could be amazing at what you do. But if you give me value, I give you value, we develop trust in a relationship over time, maybe I'll take a look at what you offer. Maybe if you're lucky. But that's how business is done today. And people wonder why they're failing. It's crazy, because I understand the desperate need for cash, but desperation doesn't sell. You still have to somehow figure, maybe you have a side hustle over here to pay the bills, but build your brand in a way that's ethical and professional and builds respect and builds relationship. And then all of a sudden you can let the side gig go. And then a year or 2 or 3 later, you have the fun thing of this personal brand you're passionate about.
Plus, the biggest thing is, honestly, it's the most fun you'll ever have running a business if you're doing something you're actually passionate about. Not when someone's leading with money, try not to call them douchepreneurs. Like it's just disgusting. Like, it's just gross. You know what I mean? Like, they're leading in such a bad way. But when you come with, can I say that, Martha? Is that okay?
I mean, we've done it before. It's fine.
Do we have like that 5? Yeah, but like you should have that 5-second button where you can just beep. There you go.
I don't have a 5-second button.
Yeah. This is the reality. It's like, think about how much fun you would be having if you figure out who you want to serve, who you're really passionate about, and then you start serving them in your business. You're that kind of entrepreneur, and then you start making money actually doing it. Like, that's amazing. And what Troy said is, in 3 years from now, you're going to organically be growing. You're still going to be around, but you've had so much fun in the process. Like, for us, OOLA, I mean, Troy was completely retired. I don't think Troy's worked harder than he has in OOLA, but he hasn't worked a day in OOLA for a paycheck. Like, everything he does in OOLA is because he loves OOLA. And of course, OOLA makes money as a business, but it's like, man, we just have so much fun doing it because we're so passionate about what we get to do. So when you lead with that, what Martha's saying is lead with that, lead with what your passion, your purpose, helping people, a service-centered heart, and then you start making money on top of it. You literally sit back and you're like, I can't believe this is real. I can't believe this is what I get to do for a living. Troy and I talk about it. We've been 7 years in OOLA, and I would say a week doesn't go by where we both say, I can't believe this is what we get to do. And
oh, it muted. I think it muted. It says guest has muted themselves.
Oh, yeah. Wow. You wish you had that last week for me. It just kind of happened. Just happened. You are muted.
Dave, you're so muted.
Yeah.
I didn't mute you. You're welcome to pop out and pop back in. Here, he's going to come out. We know the drill here. We have to come back and come back in. But you guys, I'm just going to, while he's doing this, he's exactly right. I mean, when you live in service, you guys, I preach it from the rooftops. Here he comes. He's going to come in hot. Here we go.
I'm back.
You're back.
I had a phone call coming in. I hung up on him, and then it must have muted. Oh. That's what happened last time too.
Yeah, that'll do it.
I'm on airplane mode now. Good to go. Sorry, guys.
Boom, pow. You're good. But you're exactly right, Dave. I mean, that is the life. The way that we serve people is the life. And here's the thing, you guys that are watching right now and are like, man, these guys look like they're having the time of their life. Yeah, I mean, I think we are, right? Here's the thing, so can you. And it's actually not difficult. All you have to do is let go of all the stuff that you think you can't do, because you can. And you can do even so much more. Just what you have to do is you have to get, and I'm actually just going to move into the next point because it feels like a good segue, is to shine your bat signal. So for those of you that haven't followed me or whatever, if you haven't heard of me or know about bat signal, let me just give you a short rundown on it. Your bat signal is essentially, it is the people that you're here to serve at the very beginning. You're shining bright into the sky that is you, okay? That is where you were from, that is your backstory, that those are the people that you are here to serve, okay? So, like, my backstory is alcoholism and divorce and abuse, and I have a lot of those things. Now, do I talk about them all day long every day? No, I don't. But I do weave them in here and there just in stories so people are able to understand, like, oh, so you've been through that too. Because you guys, all that they see is right now. If all you're going to do is show your success here right now and just be like, oh, I live in this awesome house and I'm having the time of my life and da-da-da-da-da, nobody gives a rip about that. And nobody is going to align with that. And if they don't align with that, you guys, you cannot help them. And ultimately, if what we're trying to do is actually help people in the world and help change people in a positive way in the world, then they have to see themselves in us, or they don't know that we are their answer, you guys. So when I say bat signal, I'm saying shine it bright who you were and who you are now. They need to know that this happened from this space, right? I mean, Dave talks about his background, right? Troy talks about his background. Here's the thing. The very first time that I shared with people that I had a severe alcoholic background, I tried to keep that far away. I tried to keep that as something that would be a secret. And then it started to work at me where it's like, okay, so there are a lot of people that know that I was an alcoholic. What are they going to say whenever I do X, Y, and Z? Is somebody going to out me, right? Like you get in this fear mindset of like, oh my gosh, somebody's going to tell. What you need to do is you need to embrace your full story. My belief is that God walks us through things that we're able to handle, okay? Because in the end, we're also able to help other people out of that same fire, okay? Now, I wouldn't be able to talk with somebody knowledgeably about alcoholism and how I quit and all of that. I wouldn't be able to do that unless I had been there, like down and out, been there, okay? So what I had to do is I had to embrace that part of my story. I had to embrace the part of my story where like the divorce part of my story. I had to embrace the domestic abuse part of my story, the stuff that I didn't want people to know about. I had to embrace it so that other people in those situations knew that they had somebody else that they could hang on, knew that they had somebody else that they would be able to talk to or get guidance from or just have a cheerleader, right? Like that's what we're here for. We don't just randomly go through stuff, guys. If you're not looking back at the stuff that you've been through and the journey that you've been through in life, and you're not looking back at it as how can I help those people in that same space, then you have missed the boat completely, okay? And my challenge to you is to look back at that today, because that is your bat signal. Your bat signal is the stuff that you've been through that now they can see you in a different space and know that it's possible. That's what we're here for. We're here to model what is possible. You guys, if they have a file now in their mind of what they can do because you've done it, right? I don't know how many people can look at me like 15, 20 years ago and they'll be like, oh my gosh, so you did this? That means like anybody can do this. And I say, yes, that means anybody can do this. But that's the whole point of bat signal. Do you guys want to elaborate? I just yelled. Sorry.
No, it's awesome, and the reality is like what an amazing place to be when you can be fully transparent and how freeing that can be. So yes. we always talk about like fake it till you make it. It's like 1980, right? Now it's about transparency and honesty and who you are, and this is the reality. And not only does that story resonate with other people, not only does that story build your brand and help you help the most amount of people, but it's the best thing for you because it's completely freeing for me. It's completely freeing for me that I could stand on a stage and anybody could stand up and yell and go, but you got divorced, or but you lost everything, or you went bankrupt. And I'm like, yeah, I wrote a book on it. It's all in there. There's no secrets. And that transparency not only builds a community. I know when Dr. Troy and I are like at OOLA Palooza are on stage and I come off stage, people come up to me that are tears in their eyes because they are now going through a divorce, or they've gone through a divorce, or they started to lose everything, or they're having struggle with they're struggling with their finances. And it's so nice to be in a position where they can come up to you and not be intimidated because they know you've been in the exact spot they're in. And that's when you can help the most people. But then on the other side, that selfish side is that you're completely transparent. This is who we are. This is what you get. And if you like us, great. If you don't, you don't. But you're going to resonate with our story or you're not. But it's the true story. It's the truth. There's no fake it till you make it. We see people on Instagram leasing Ferraris and doing photo shoots and all that stuff. It's just not who we are. And it's not the way you need to be. Where you are right now is where you are for a reason. Everything you went through is everything you went through for a reason. You are enough. You are enough right now with where you are. You have enough built in your story to be a brand, to be this personal brand and decide who you want to help and how you're going to shine what Martha calls that bat signal. And the way I'd elaborate on the bat signal is go all in on that. Like, that's who you are. Go all in with all your heart and mind and everything you throw out there and say, this is who I am. This is who I want to help. And this is how I'm going to do it.
I think everyone thinks that they look at other people as an inspiration and they don't realize that their struggle is the inspiration, and everyone goes through struggles. I can talk to quietly to some of the people that you feel are the most successful people on the planet, and they all pull me aside and tell me, but I've got this thing going on, or I had this in my past, or I had this thing. I just think as a culture, I think it's super healthy, the conversation we're having now, because it no longer is the 80s where people have this, they portray this unattainable image of success that nobody can attain and they always feel less than. And now it's like, hey, it's relatable. Everyone has, some people struggle with money, some people struggle with relationships, some people struggle with career, but everyone has a struggle. But how do we get through that struggle together? And this is again how we position the coaching thing. And that's what coaches are figuring out, is they don't have to be the expert. They simply need to be a guide for the process. Like, I've been where you've been. This is how this changed my life, and I think it could change your life too. Let me help you through this thing that helped me, and it'll help you too. That's a totally different conversation than I hold the 5 secrets to success, and for $3,000, I will give you the 5 secrets to success, but only once the check clears. It's just such a different way. I can't even explain it. It's a heart for helping other people, a proven framework, and someone who's relatable. That, hey, I've been where you've been.
And that's your people. I'm sorry, I thought it muted. That's your people. I've been where you've been. As you were talking, I was seeing different people, like different future OOLA coaches in my mind. And I'm like, one of them is like a mom of, their kids play softball. So it's like other softball moms, right? Like the stuff that they go through, like the travel and the washing the clothes and all of the like softball mom stuff, but then also just balancing each other's lives out. You don't have to be, I feel like there is a big mistruth or an untruth out there that somebody needs to be like this big business phenom in order for other people to want their coaching. And that is so false. People want people like them. And it doesn't matter. All you have to do is desire to help them. You don't need to be miles ahead of them, you guys. You don't need to be on Forbes. You don't need to be in whatever magazines, right? You just have to have the desire to serve them. And then, here's the kicker, you gotta show up. You just have to want to do it and follow it up with action of actually showing up, you guys. Those two things. And if you're watching this right now and you're thinking like, I feel like I could do this, then I would totally suggest going and having a conversation with one of the advisory coaches from OOLA, you guys. That every single person on the planet can, I'm going to follow that up with, and should do this, okay? I'm doing this. I'm a business coach. I'm a business strategist. I'm also doing this. I'm going through my certification right now. Going to have it by the end of this week is what's happening. But I'm going through my certification right now, you guys, and the reason why is because business people come to me. Families that want to build income streams come to me. Yes, I would love nothing more than to help you. Let's talk about business. Let's talk about income streams. But also, hey, let's talk about your life. Let's talk about how all of this is going to fit together. Let's talk about being happy in the long run and not just getting stuck in the grind of this. Okay, like that's what matters. So everybody's got something like that. The link, I believe it's in the comments already, oolalife.com/Martha. That's where you go to just click on a button to set up a call with an advisory coach. I'm gonna say this real quick and then I'm gonna follow it up again later. Okay, I'm gonna give you more details later. But whenever you sign up to become an OOLA coach between now and December 7th, you guys, with that link, with oolalife.com/Martha, then you're going to be invited into the mastermind that these guys and I are doing on December 7th. It's a $2,500 mastermind, you guys, and it's going to be completely free for you for taking this action right now, for planting your flag right now, for saying, okay, I'm going to listen to the nudge. I'm going to listen to the still small voice that's screaming in my ears right now, right? I'm going to listen and I'm going to take this next step. You guys, there are people that are being activated every single day, and it's positive people in the world. This world is being lit up. I know that you may see other things, but that's because that's what's being projected at us. That's not all that's happening. There's that, and then there's the equal and opposite, if not even more than equal, response in the spiritual world of other people being lit up, planting their flag and saying, listen, no more. I'm doing this on my own terms. I am about to show up in this world in a way that nobody has seen me show up before. I'm about to help other people in this world. What do you guys have to say? I just soapboxed again in the same video. So sorry. We got
no,
me all
you're
riled
great.
up today.
I love when you take it, Martha, and I'm super excited for us coming together in such a great way. I mean, I know that one of the things you talk about is multiple streams of income and becoming a coach and coaching other people through the OOLA framework or online courses or webinars, all part of what you would naturally teach. So it's such a great fit. But I think the biggest thing that you're talking about is when you have that opportunity to look at your life personally and professionally inside this mastermind group and say, okay, I'm going to win in 2021. Like, I'm going to win personally, I'm going to win for my family, and I'm going to win for the world. And I agree with you 1,000,000%. You can see the world, the unbalanced world, go in a certain direction, but we see the people that are becoming coaches. We see the community that's forming in OOLA. And we also talk to our advisor coaches, and they're saying people coming from Martha's group are special people because they're ready to step up in what the coaches call themselves the OOLA Army. They're special people because they're ready to step up and make a complete change in the world. They're saying, we're going to change ourselves. We're going to get certified, and we're going to change ourselves. We're going to change our family. We're going to change our community. But together as an army of people, we're going to change the world with this thing called OOLA, and we're out to make that happen. And I think, man, if you can get certified and come into this mastermind and go deep on personal development and then go deep with Martha and us on more of your professional development, piggybacking your brand and our brand as we have this big mission to change the world, it's just such a win-win. And it's such a blast working with you because your people, the people you that are watching right now, are so congruent with who people in OOLA are and what our brand is and what our brand represents. So that part of it is so unique and so fun.
I think the timing couldn't be better. It's just a dumpster fire this whole year for a lot of people. And I think people will be able to get the certification and understand the framework that'll help them personally, by the way, by understanding this OOLA framework in depth and applying it in their own life. They'll do it in a way that they can articulate to the people they love, whether it's their family, their team, their friends, but then they'll be able to articulate it in a way that can help others. And that's how we're combating this. And there's no better way to do it than to go through the certification and then do the mastermind to map out 2021 together. I just think I can see the comments here, which is great. And I recognize a number of names as people who are already certified OOLA life coaches. And I would encourage you to just interact with them or click on their profile and see that they're regular humans. I think you mentioned it, that I think a lot of people think that what it takes to be a life coach, they have an image of what it is. Like they've got life figured out, everything's perfect, the perfect look, the perfect weight, the perfect career, the perfect relationship, the perfect whatever. and they're imperfect people that are just trying to become a better version of themselves using the framework, and they want to encourage you to do the same. And it's an environment that is rare today of kindness and positivity and encouragement. We don't even allow drama and negativity and gossip. We'll just bump you out. It's a big world, man. Go get some other certification. We're desperate for a community of people that believe in people, and they believe in good, and they believe in light. And this isn't like foo-foo, like, pixie dust stuff. This is real, that if we wake up every day and become a better version of us, we're going to put off a different light than if we wake up every day and spew venom on social media about some things that, we're passionate about that divides people and incites anger. So we're just like, hey, I'm just going to wake up every day and be a better husband, be a better father, be a better business person, get in better shape. I mean, if every day I look at these 7 curious and be a better version of that, maybe if I'm lucky, I'll inspire someone else to do the same. And that's really what this is about. But it's just, I see Tina, I see Coach Heather, I see other names I recognize on this comment. They're just great humans wanting to do good in the world using a framework that's been proven and works.
Heck yes. Oh, you guys. Well, let's do my last point. We're about 15 minutes from the supposed to be the end. Who knows if it's going to be or not. But last point, you guys. So just to recap, first point was uncover who you're here to serve. Okay, so we talked about that. Second point was shine your bat signal, right? Third point, you guys, is increase the Velcro hold, okay? So the Velcro hold, you guys, is a bunch of those Me Too moments, okay? So the best way that I can describe it is this. So somebody is wandering around Facebook and they happen upon one of your posts and they're like, oh, okay, well, yeah, that's funny. I like her. She's funny. She's quirky. She's whatever, right? Okay, so the kind of, you're a little bit on their radar. It's not like super, maybe your 2 little Velcro strips are kind of close to each other, but they're not touching yet. But they may have a couple hairs attached, the Velcro hairs. What, is there a word for those? Anyway.
Yeah, I think it's called gross. Gross. That would be gross.
Maybe the hairs are tangled up a bit.
So that didn't age well in 2020. These germs kind of going Velcro to Velcro. You need a new analogy. Rewind the tape.
We're completely fine with douchepreneur if you're talking about Velcro hair. Like we're good. Your show is wide to do whatever.
That just made me blush. I have no idea what we're talking about.
I don't listen. Just let me keep going. It'll all make sense here in a minute. Yeah, when the Velcro's all the way together, it's better. So it's awkwardly together here. We'll just say that. And then you're kind of on your radar, and because they like something, now the algorithm's tipped a little bit, and so they see a little bit more of your stuff, and then they see maybe you grew up riding horses, okay? And they grew up riding horses. And then, so now it starts to go together a little bit more, a little tighter, okay? Like along the top, not the bottom. You're just a little bit, still not all the way, right? So they grew up riding horses and you grew up riding horses. Well, then then you share something else about maybe a background part, like we'll just say alcoholism. Maybe there was that. Okay, well, maybe that was them in a big part of their life. Now you're starting to stick. Now you're starting to really increase that Velcro hold. That's what I'm saying. You guys, what I'm going to tell you right now is that you cannot increase that Velcro hold. The value of a Velcro hold is that you are there to serve that person. That person is here and you can help them because they are you. They literally are your bat signal, okay? So you are here to help that person in whatever capacity that looks like, okay? So your Velcro hold is strong with this person. The reason that is important, you guys, is because I just lost my train of thought because I started thinking about hairs again. Somebody take this from me. Somebody take it from me, and I'm going to come back to it.
I know what you're saying exactly from his.
I have no idea why I blinked out. Go ahead.
I was just saying this to me is back to that transparency part again, where it's like when you know who you want to serve, why you want to serve them, throw out your back signal, but the transparency of who you are will build that relationship deeper and stronger. And that's really what you're trying to do even as a brand.
Yes. Also, can I just show you guys, it's okay to totally blank out on live video. You just pass it off to somebody else and make them say something. I love that you just handle that. So my point was that there's no way that they're going to be able to have that Velcro hold with you if you don't show up authentically, transparently, and consistently in your different forums, right? So on your different platforms, on your blog, in your social media, if you do a YouTube channel, whatever, they're not gonna know that they're your people if you don't show up and actually talk about this stuff. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to like dig up old stuff all the time. It's just, I mean, I joke about stuff all the time. Or like last week, I shared a post about pens, okay? It was about how I have to literally buy a pack of pens every week. And it was so silly, but as I was going to the store to grab more pens, I was like, I wonder if anybody else has to buy 10 new pens every week, right? And so like I posted about that. It got a ton of activity on it of people like, yes, I don't know where they go, right? All of these moms that were just losing pens. Anyway, those are like Me Too moments. That's like, it sounds silly, but you guys, what we do is we allow ourselves to connect with other people in these seemingly not very meaningful things, but what it's doing is it's allowing you to create community amongst people. And that is the Velcro hold. Thank you for saving me, Dave. I appreciate that.
My pleasure.
I think the cool thing about social media and the cool thing about the world we're in now is that you don't have to be everything for everybody. So you can niche down to just the things you're interested in, and you will build a community that can sustain a brand and a business of your dreams. It's not, so I that goes back to the original point of being authentic. Just throw yourself out there in a way that things that you're personally passionate about. Don't try to go, what would get the most engagement? What would get, like you didn't strategically sit down in a marketing room and go, hey, let's talk about pens tomorrow. It's just something that you're passionate about, and it engaged a small community of people. We bought the bus. We didn't sit in a marketing room. We're like, it'd be fun to go collect dreams with people. And it just took off into an organic reach. And the closer you can be to just who you are, you don't have, there's 40 million people in the US, and with the internet, you can go 7 billion people worldwide or whatever the number is. All you need is 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 people over time that are, as you mentioned, like Velcro together, and then you've earned their trust as a brand, and then you have the ability to do business with them. So I think that makes life interesting, by the way. If everyone's trying to be everything for everyone, it's vanilla and it's not sticky.
Even taking that to another level, Troy, what you're talking about is like, we're talking about like being an OOLA coach, right? Like if you're a certified OOLA life coach, you need 7 people a year to be like, man, I really want to work with this person. You don't even need 5,000 or 500 or 50. If you have 7 people that you connected with, that your Velcro hold is tight, they're like, man, I love horseback riding. I love the beaches in Florida. I totally get this person. I want to work with this person. 7 people, and you have a career. You have a part-time career. And, 10 to 12 people, you're kind of working full-time, working on helping these people and really turning it into something that's very special. It's so interesting how, like Troy and I have a lot of similarities, but we have a lot of differences. Troy likes beaches and I like mountains, and I'm a coffee drinker, and just different things. But it's interesting how that starts to build your personality and your personal brand, but it's just authentic with who we are as people. And it's really cool in OOLA because we can have 2 different people in OOLA, but when you're building your own personal brand, just be you, just be transparent, authentic. And then you said a great word. You said just be persistent on that, just go all in on that, but then also just be patient on that. Like, don't try to change it up so much. Just be you, be your natural personality, your transparency, be persistent, and just be patient on that. Give that time to brew, because it's like dating. You don't you don't ask someone to marry you on the first date. So when someone sees you for the first time and they start to, like you're talking about the Velcro, they're starting to get more and more and more connected to you over time. Be patient with that and let that relationship develop. And that's how that person will want to work with you, collaborate with you, do business with you, hire you, whatever it is. But it's after you've built the Velcro hold, after you've built that relationship over time, that's when you can start to do business. You have to earn the right to work with this person or collaborate with this person. It's not something you just, like LinkedIn, right? Like, hey, buy my thing. I'm like, I just met you 3 minutes ago. I don't even know what you sell. Like, it's like build relationships with people and be authentic and transparent.
Yeah. You guys, there's a stat, 92% of the people out there that are in your audience just need more information. They're not your low-hanging fruit. They're not the people that are never going to work with you at all. They're 92% of the people that are out there in your audience right now. And your audience is social media, your audience is your church people, your audience is people at school, whatever. That your audience is the people that you know. 92% of them just need to see more of what you're offering, just need to see more of what you're doing, okay? That means that there are constantly people out there that you have to consistently show up. That if you don't consistently show up, there was a word that Troy used earlier, and it's trust. If you're not consistent, you cannot build trust with people. If you're not consistently showing up in the different spaces with just showing up. It doesn't need to be, preaching about something every single day. It's just being available, just being top of mind, right? Every single day. If you don't do that, then you start to lose trust with people. And I know that sounds silly, but it doesn't mean I'm not trustworthy. Right, but we're talking media here. We're talking people's, what they think here, their perception, okay? They lose trust when they stop seeing you. So that's another thing, is you need to keep showing up. Why do you think I'm everywhere all the time? There's something that I teach in HBR, and it's called being omnipresent. Like it shows you how to be able to do it all over the place. It's what needs to happen, you guys, in order for people to continue to build that trust. Let's talk more about that mastermind. Tammy said, hang on, I have to put this on. Tammy said, what? So what do you mean I can't get a proposal on the first date? Tammy wants to know why she can't get a proposal on the first date.
Not the proposal you'd want. You might be able to get one, not the good one.
There it is. So you guys, the 2020, where are we at on time? Okay. The mastermind, we touched on it a little bit. What we're going to do is we're mapping out 2021 for you guys, right? We're mapping it out from a space of 2021 isn't going to happen to you the way that 2020 did. 2020 kind of beat a lot of people up. It tossed a lot of people around. There was a lot of reacting to things around us instead of just standing our ground and saying, this is what I choose, right? 2021 is going to be different. For the people that are doing the mastermind, 2021 is going to be a year of growth. It's going to be a year of choosing. It's going to be a year of showing up for your people, and a year of realizing exactly how you can build a community in service to other people and love every single day of your life. That is what 2021 is going to bring to you for the people that are in the mastermind. And again, there's the link. I'm sure it's already in here, but oolalife.com/Martha is the page where you go to click the button to talk to an advisory coach to then get in, and then you get the mastermind for free whenever you get in before December 7th. Do you guys want to talk about the mastermind a little bit?
I'm going to actually talk a little bit about the certification and pull it all into the mastermind, because this is such a great time to start going through this certification, because when you're going through the certification, you are going through the certification for you. You are putting together your life, you're planning your life, you're starting to plan 2021. And then you're learning how to coach others, whether you want to do online workshops, webinars, whether you want to work with people who are over 60 or divorced people, or people coming back from the military, or moms that are struggling with balance, whatever it is. Once you start, this is who I want to work with, you're going through that for yourself, then how to teach it to others. But then, the icing on the cake is coming into this mastermind and taking everything you've learned through the certification, and you hone it all in during that mastermind, where we actually dig deep into how can you build your personal brand? How can you build the best 2021 ever? And Martha said it perfectly. A lot of people have been beat up in 2020. And if you want to have a good 2021, it doesn't start in March or June or August of next year. It starts right now, like starting to work on what are you going to do in 2021 to make it your year and take back control. And we're so excited about the mastermind. Like, I don't know if anybody knows this, but we're actually flying into Arizona for a meeting in a couple weeks so that we can actually sit down and make it even better than we thought it was going to be, because we just want to bring something so special to all of you.
Yeah. I'm also making
really,
these guys do a photo shoot. Sorry.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll have better lighting, so it'll be even level the playing field. So I think the best thing about it is you actually enter 2021 with a plan. It's funny, we're going to incorporate OOLA, which is our big annual event, with your training, which is just a perfect merger of personal brand and multiple streams of income. But I think even looking at 2020 for a lot of the people who went through the process, and it feels like just a wreck. But then when we sit down and look at their 21 goals, 3 in each category, many times it's like 17 of the 21 were unaffected by this crazy year. So why don't we work on the 17 that we have control of rather than focus on the 4 that are outside of our control? The beautiful thing about this mastermind is it's one thing to get inspired. It's one thing to get motivated. It's one thing to get jacked up. That's great, right? But the more important thing is, what can I apply? What are the actual action steps I can take in my life to grow personally and to grow my thing, whatever that thing happens to be? If it's a personal brand, if it's a stay-at-home business, if it's you run a travel business, whatever it is, how are you going to pivot? It's time to step outside of the chaos of life and see it for what it really is. Acknowledge and grieve the things that we've lost in 2020, if there's some pain in 2020, but also navigate a plan and an actual course of action for 2021. I think that's the most beautiful thing about it, because people who are at the mastermind will have gone through the certification. So you've got all of this knowledge you've just gained and how to look at life in a way that's tactical, in a way that gives you balance, in a way that moves it forward. And now we dump it into this mastermind and we can work at it together. It's going to be a blast. It's
going to be insanity, like the best insanity. I wasn't even, I don't know why I didn't even think about that. Like, for people that haven't been through OOLA stuff, not only are you getting certified as a coach, but you're going through the OOLA stuff yourself, you guys. So not only is your life going to change massively just simply because you're going through that, but then like just everything that happens after that, right? Like turning it into an income producing activity, like it's something that you can build an income with, and then changing your entire 2021. My goodness. This is going to be insane.
Yeah, we were supposed to be at OOLA in San Diego that exact date, or one of those dates. It's always the first week in December. So this is going to be our version of pouring into people. We've done that for 8 years, and we've done it multiple times across the country and the world. But our annual one, it goes back to, we used to go to Vegas on the first week of December with little note cards and 7 stacks and say, what do I want for my life in these 7 areas? And that's how OOLA started back in the 90s. And then we turned it into OOLA. This year we're pivoting. And we're going to pivot with your mastermind, which will be a blast.
Yeah. Oh, that's exciting. Cool. Well, what do you guys, let me see what people are saying. There's a lot of comments, and I really just can't even. Lynn, OOLA coaching is already in my 2021 plan. Boom. Heather, yes, growing as you learn. Laura, I blocked out the last 2 months of the year to focus on OOLA and setting up for a successful 2021. Laura, that's brilliant.
But Laura, don't quit. Don't quit. It's like people like, you know what, I'm going to start losing weight after Thanksgiving and after Christmas. I mean, this is the time everyone else is at a water stop. I think of it like a marathon. Everyone else is at a water stop, and you can still keep moving. Like, you can make ground. So definitely start mapping it out, but strategically. But if you get 1 or 2 goals, set these mini goals. Like 2021 is great, but don't kick it 2 months down the road. 2 months is a lot of time. A lot of things can happen in 2 months. So I look at this month where everyone else is taking a break, and this is when I grind. Because this is when I look at life like a little bit of a race, and it's like everyone else is just checking out. They're chalking up 2020 for a loss. And they'll say, you know what? It's just a calendar. Nothing changes. There's still 24 hours in every day. Tomorrow's still a new start. There's nothing special about Monday. There's nothing special about January 1st, other than it's what many people need to just go. And what I would challenge you to do is go now. Go decide what you want and start. I mean, you can make significant change in your life. If it's your marriage, if it's debt, if it's your career, but you just got to make some moves now, and don't just kick it 2 months down the road. If it was the 29th of December, I'd say, hey, just have a couple of days, chill out. We'll start January 1. But man, when we're 2 months away, that is a lot of time to make a lot of progress toward your dreams.
Boom. He's so right. He's so right. What you got, Dave? I think we're going to wrap it up. We're over a little over time.
I got 1% battery, so I'm going to put it right back to you. and I like, if I just go dark, I'm all okay. No one call 911. I love you.
That was last week, I think. You just disappeared.
Dude,
You just disappeared.
Dude, I had my computer fully charged, and Martha goes, "Go to your phone. We're on phones this week," and my phone's not charged. So
Your 2021 goal.
you
Your 2021 goal should be a new iPhone with great battery life.
Or just a little
I wish
charger.
that my
Just
I can move. I can move over here.
Oh
Over
no.
here. Here's a charger.
Oh my
Here's a
word.
charger.
Oh,
Hey, everybody.
Hey,
Let me
there.
plug in.
Yeah. There we
Let
go.
me see if I can save this broadcast.
It's gonna end like right before.
Oh, I don't know. I might be able to do it.
You're against the
It's just-
clock.
I know, man. Literally, boom. I got it in. Okay.
Oh man. Well, shoot. Just in time for me to sign
No,
off.
now we have to stay another hour.
Oh.
I didn't go that far for nothing.
Oh my goodness. Let's see what's going on with P. With P? That's what's going on with people. Sorry, you guys. Somebody said, so good. Claudette, OOLA Planner. Sounds interesting. You need to go look at OOLA Planner, you guys. I'm not okay. There's so many comments. What else do we want to say about the mastermind? What else do we want to say about not wasting time before December? And then let's pop off of here, because I think that's extremely important. The don't wait.
Just that is the don't wait. Just make some moves.
Yeah.
So many people are so distracted by what's going on around them, they don't realize that they control what's happening in front of them and in their own life. And just shut down all the noise and say, what are the goals and dreams I want for my life, and what are the moves I can make in the next 1 to 2 months? And maybe it includes a certification, become certified as a coach, so you can build a coaching career as an additional revenue source in 2021. Maybe it's, for the first time in my life, I'm actually going to set goals in a way that is proven to tactically reach them, and not be only 8% of the people who set goals achieve them. So that means 92% of us set goals every year that don't happen, and that just makes us feeling worse about ourselves. I'm just about making moves every single day. In the OOLA framework is a simple thing about taking action every single day. It's just a grind, like in a good way. So I look at my goals and dreams, and every day I take steps toward them, and then I repeat, and I repeat, and I repeat, and I course correct if something happens. But that's really what I'm challenging people to do is start making some moves now. Don't wait until 2021.
2020 was not. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Martha. No, go ahead. But I got battery, man. So we're gonna keep going. This is gonna be like, we're gonna still be here on December 7th.
Stop
it.
Where's mommy? I don't know.
This is like a marathon. No, go ahead. But I actually have a little story I'm gonna tell now that you guys made me plug my phone in. Go.
Okay. Well, here's my little story. 2020 didn't affect us and me and my family the same way that it affected everybody else. But the reason why is exactly because what Troy was saying, you guys. It was exactly because we didn't act like anything else was happening. We still showed up for our people. We still created. We still helped them move from where they were to where they wanted to be. That is always what we're doing, right? And we never ever stopped. Never once did we stop to lick our wounds of like, oh man, this world is crazy. Never once, because my world isn't crazy, right? That is crazy, maybe, I guess. I don't know. That's what I'm told. But my world isn't crazy. So what's happening in you, what's happening in your house, what's happening in your life, you can control all of that stuff. I'm just piggybacking on what Troy said, but that's exactly the reason that 2020 didn't really take us out like it took everybody else out or other people out. Go ahead.
When it started getting crazy in March, I mean, Troy and I were pouring into our coaches at that time, because there was people going like, man, all the coaches are going to drop off because the world is ending. There's COVID everywhere. And we just said, hey, this is a time we're actually going to pivot. So we poured into helping our coaches pivot and actually go not be a coach, go double down on being a coach, because there's certainty there. Yes. You know that you can create that. You're not going to get furloughed from your coaching business. You're not going to get laid off from your personal brand. Who you are is who you are, and what you do is what you do based on how you want to do it. So it's take control of that, pivot yourself so your mindset can pivot from I need to make a living from someone else, I'm not in control of my future, to being I am in control and I can figure it out and I can use my personal brand. And actually our coaching network grew substantially because people were saying like, you know what, this is a way that I can go all in on myself. So that's a big part of it. And I want to go back to something Troy said too. This is a weird story, but it's such an interesting story. We're all from the Midwest. I'm from a town of like 700 people. And this is so strange, but we would win state wrestling every single year. And I was a wrestler. And I remember someone interviewing our coach and saying, why does this town of 700 people with like 20 boys in the whole high school win state every year, even against big cities? And he was, because we never ever stopped during breaks. So it was so like, he would go, okay, guys, the wrestling season is over. And every wrestler in the state and the country just quit wrestling and quit lifting weights and quit working out. This is when, if you want to win, this is when you double down. This is when you work all summer. This is when you work through Christmas break. And that was so key to something that I grew up learning at a young age. And when Troy said, like, there's 2 months left, I know for a fact there's people I talk to that have already thrown in the towel on 2020. And it is not even November. Like, this is when you double down and work twice as hard, get certified, get into this mastermind, go so hard right now if you want to fix 2021. That's why I said it doesn't start when 2021 starts. 2021 starts today. Like, if you want a good 2021, it starts right now. And that's something that I learned that's been so valuable in my life, is like, when everybody else says, all right, it's time to watch Netflix, I'm like, it's time to work. When everybody else says it's time for summer, I'm like, it's time to go. And that Troy's the same way. We work through it.
And when you're passionate about it, it's easy. It's not like we're going to a job we hate. And the cool thing about this community, your community, Martha, is that it's heart-centered people. So instead of looking at 2020 as a mess, I would say it's a call to action for heart-centered people. What you have in you is needed in this world more than ever. So in 2019, the need for a life coach, in my opinion, was less than 2020. Everyone is feeling overwhelmed, stressed, and unbalanced, and they're getting sucked into this negative conversation about things they don't control, where they need someone to step into their life and say, hey, I believe in you, I love you, I have this thing that'll move you away from the distractions of these negative, dramatic, gossipy conversations and more in the path of your purpose. And I'd love to show you the way. So our attrition rate in coach, I love statistics because numbers never lie, but our attrition rate, we did say, okay, but this is going to affect coaches. We started to buy into that. 2% attrition rate. Like, nobody left the coaching program because it's more needed now than ever. And if only to guide themselves through this mess, to keep themselves accountable to something positive, something that allows them to make moves. I can assure you our coaches are not sitting on their hands for November and December. They're not saying, you know what, let's just wait till January 1. No, they have goals written. They have action steps every day. They know what they want for their life, and they know they need to take steps toward them every day. And that's needed now more than ever.
Well, you can't just start January 1st, right? Like, if you're starting January 1st, then you're not helping anybody until March, probably. Like, whenever, so far as like a 90-day cycle goes, and being able to learn, implement, feel ready. Now, there's a lot of people that can move a lot faster than that, but I'm just going on like just a sort of like a typical people. That if you're waiting until January 1st to begin, then you're not actually doing anything for a while after that, you guys. Why don't you start right now? Here's the thing is, I'm putting my phone away. If you're feeling the nudge right now, you guys, it's your job to do it right now. You're not getting a nudge in November today. Okay? If you're getting a nudge today, you act today. If you want to live your life following what I call divine footsteps and following the nudges and following the guidance, if you're doing that and you're being nudged today, do it today. Okay? Because that's when you're being nudged. If you're being nudged down the line, then you're being nudged down the line. But how on earth would you know that? You're being nudged right now. Go do it right now. There's a reason. You'll be able to look back at it and you'll be like, oh, now I see why I had to do that day, because then it took this long to do this, and then this person showed up in my life. This is how miracles start happening, just so you know. You did this thing this one day, and then somebody shows up in your life and everything blows up, and then somebody else shows up and everything blows up, but you had to be ready for this person to show up right then. That's what the nudge today is for. It's to prepare you for the person that's going to show up down the line, but you have to be ready for that person whenever they show up. I know this sounds ambiguous. I know this sounds like a bit ethereal, but you guys, that's how it works. I'm just telling you from my own experience. I've seen it happen over and over and over again so often that I can now trust it. That whenever I feel a nudge, I'm like, Martha, do it. You got to do, I don't talk to myself as my own name, but I say like, you got to do this. Go do this thing right now because you know that this is preparing you for something else. Follow the footsteps, you guys. I'm going to stop yelling on this video.
I would even challenge that one step deeper, and then I'll quit talking for the rest of this. But I would say that if you're waiting till January 1st, you're probably never going to do it. And I would say next fall, you're going to be wishing your life was changing. If you want to change anything, it doesn't start on Monday, or especially January 1st. It does start right now. And anybody who says like, I'm going to start that diet in January, by January 3rd, they're not on the diet. If anybody says I'm going to start that business in 2021, by 2022, they haven't started their business. If you're going to start something, you start and then just go from there. And when you do that, that's when you see all the changes start to happen. And we always just, in OOLA, we talk so much about, you know, the people that follow OOLA, you know, the coaches, whatever. You're designed by God for greatness and a purpose. You have this amazingness inside of you. You're not here for an average life or a, you know, halfway life. Like, it's you just go, like, let's go. Like, that's a big thing in OOLA. We text back and forth all the time, like, to everybody on the team is like, let's go. It's like, if you feel it, we go. And that's everybody in OOLA, from the person that does our marketing to, you know, the person that the advisor coaches, we're all talking about that all the time, is like, let's just go. Well, there's no time to waste. We don't know how long we're going to be here. We're not going to wait till January to start something or 2023 to start something. We're starting right now. We're doing it right now. Like, we're living our purpose. We're moving right now. We're making it happen. And it's just a better way to live. So if you procrastinate until January 1st, by January 3rd, you're going to be like, oh, that's right, I should have started that thing. Well, it's too late. I mean, start now and move. Start building your life right now. I'm done. Promise.
Troy?
No, I'm just looking at the clock for your people. Your people got to go spend time with their family.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
We should. Out with us for,
we
you
should
guys
wrap
have
it
been
up.
hanging out with us too long. Like, yeah, just go.
They're all like,
go
I wish
hang
my
out.
phone would have died.
Some people booked the call on this call. Nice.
Yeah,
nice.
That's
Congrats.
cool. The cool thing about the call's not a commitment. The call is an exploratory call with a real human who can see if it's a good fit for you. So we've got this dialed in now after doing it for a while in a way that makes you make a clear decision, like is a good fit or not, and answers all your questions. So that the advisory team is amazing.
Cool. All right, everybody, we are breaking until next Thursday. And we will see you same bat time, same bat channel. Next Thursday, who knows? Some of us may have our phones and we may have computers and who knows what's going to happen. You guys
I'll have everything charged.
Everything will be.
I'm going to charge everything.
I'm going to text you.
Everything.
I'm going to text you like 4 hours early and be like, okay, make sure the phone's charged. But, everybody, you guys have the best night. As always, thanks for hanging out. Even more than that, thanks for desiring to change your life and the world around you so much so that you sit and you listen to us. Because that's what we want for you. In all reality, that's all that we want for you is that, okay? And for the rest of the world, quite frankly. So, okay, love you guys. See you later. Bye-bye.